You want the cash? I'm trying to get the cow. You want the truck? I'm trying to get the plow. We need land, not hypothetical. Cause if we had a place, then we could reclaim the impeccable.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Francis with CBC Indigenous. I'm from Kakta First Nation here on Treaty 4 territory. And with me is Lindsay Knight, also known as Eekwol. If you want to introduce yourself a little, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
For sure. Yeah, I didn't know you were from Kak. That's cool. I'm Lindsay Knight, Saskatchewan. I'm originally from Muskoday First Nation, which is just outside of Prince Albert, although I've lived most of my life in Saskatoon, so I'm super urban native. So I'm part Nehiyaw, which is my dad's side is Cree, and on my mom's side, I'm settler. My mom is Russian and Polish, so yeah, that's sort of who I am. That's my identity. But I identify with an Indigenous experience, and that sort of plays out throughout my music. And yeah, just how I live my life and how I raise my kids.
Have any sort of artists, Indigenous artists, who influence you or that you listen to and are really passionate about or a big fan of?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, like for Indigenous musicians, we're a community. Like there's a lot of peers. We have we consider each other like kin, and we try to uplift each other as much as we can. And for me, I've been really fortunate to get to travel a lot with music and get to meet a lot of Indigenous artists from other places. And right now, like there's so many, I wouldn't be able to list them all in this short time, but right now I'm really feeling Snotty Nose Res Kids.
My designers are Indigenous.
They're just blowing up, and they're amazing guys to work with and to perform with. I would definitely shout them out right now. Of course, the Hallucination. Used to be a tribe called Red. They're also super amazing. So proud of them. Yeah, there's so many.
Is there any sort of like, what kind of hurdles and challenges did you have to overcome to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess being a hip hop artist, I go by Eekwol. I've been doing that for like over 20 years, so it's been quite a journey. The biggest hurdles, I guess, were gender. That's a huge thing because being someone who identifies as a woman in hip hop has always been a challenge, not just Indigenous, but just being a woman in general is always a challenge with hip hop. So I've had to negotiate that all of my life. And but then also being Indigenous, there's those added sort of layers of lack of opportunity, lack of opportunities to present and to, expose our music to other parts of society that normally wouldn't know anything about who we are.
You said you make hip hop music. Is that sort of like the genre that you're super into?
Yeah, definitely. Hip hop discovered me when I was a young teen, just growing up in the 90s, and there was hip hop was definitely blowing up at that time, and yeah, it just hit me like as a young person, growing up in an urban space. Just I could really relate to how hip hop gave the ability to tell a story over a beat, and it was just so relatable. And I always just thought it was going to be a thing that I would do and eventually, grow out of or whatever. But it never happened that way. I just kept going, and even to this day, next week I'm taking a trip to LA to perform. So I'm just really fortunate that this hip hop life and music has given me so many awesome opportunities. But I do just want to say that being an Indigenous musician for me since the beginning, I've been lucky because I was born and raised in music. So my uncle is Chester Knight. My dad is Harvey Knight. They've been in bands and been performing since before I was born. And so it's really a natural thing. But what they've taught me and what I've learned about Indigenous music is that the idea entertainment is one thing, the idea of success is one thing, but to be an Indigenous musician, the most important thing about that is the community. So above and beyond being, I guess, successful in the industry, it's how the community responds to you and embraces you. And to me, you know, having a kid come up and say you're awesome and, you know, your music is like really inspiring, that's pretty much to me worth a mansion. Like it's more than any kind of accolades, awards, or money that I could receive, is to hear one of our young, like, Indigenous kids come up and say you're dope. So yeah, I just wanted to really say that, because it's really important to say, as Indigenous, what makes us Indigenous musicians, and it's definitely that idea of community and how that sort of takes more importance than any kind of individual success.
I 100% agree. And I love Indigenous artists, and I'm like really glad I got to talk to someone who makes really great music, and artists like you are really important to like not only Indigenous culture, but to the music scene as well. So I just wanted to thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks so much, Jennifer. It's been awesome to be on.
Woman's heart, fire within.